Welcome to another episode of How to Get Plastic Surgery without the surgery part. This entire series on my channel is focused on teaching you simple makeup tips and tricks that will have you feeling gorgeous during a new and wonderful phase of your life. Today's video is focused on age 60 and beyond. Every decade comes with a whole new set of beauty dilemmas and also a whole new set of life benefits. In my 5 tips for looking younger for longer video, I asked you to tell me your favorite part of getting older, and I got so many amazing and uplifting comments. Many of you told me that your favorite part was feeling comfortable and confident in your own skin, and I couldn't love that anymore. Today's looks are all about celebrating that. In the studio today, I have the beautiful Jocelyn. Jocelyn is in her mid-60s, and honestly, is she not the most stunning woman ever? In the comments, let me know what you think is her best feature and what you would do to play up her makeup if you were her artist. Let's get started. Tip number 1 is to properly prep your canvas. You may notice that in your 60s, your skin has really started to change, and that's because the first 2 layers, the epidermis and the dermis, thin and they flatten out. Your skin becomes drier and itchier, and wrinkles, age spot, creases, and bruises become more noticeable.
I do notice that hydration is becoming an issue.
Hydration is a noticeable issue for almost every woman in this age group. That is why it is so important that before applying your makeup, you start by prepping the skin. There is nothing more aging than dry, crepey skin, and your skin will likely look that way if you apply foundation directly on top of an unmoisturized base. Today, I used a moisturizer. I let it sink in for a little bit, and then I used a primer on top of that. Using a primer is a great idea because it creates a smooth base on which to apply your foundation, and it smooths wrinkles out and helps your makeup last longer. I will leave a detailed list of every single product I use in the description box below in case you want specific. Now, I know this question is also going to come up. So the reason I didn't apply sunscreen on her today is because the CC cream I use later in this video has an SPF of 50 already. If your foundation does not, or you don't plan on wearing any foundation, please use a sunscreen as well. It's very important for the health of your skin, and because UV breaks down collagen, it will keep you looking plumper for longer, and we all love that, right? We all want to look our best for as long as we can. Tip number 2 is to even out any pigmentation on the eyelids. Redness in the eyelid is very common in this age demographic because the skin gets so thin that the veins shine through. This can make you look tired even if you're not, and it can be very aging as well. It is so easy, you guys. It is so easy to prep the lids, and you really don't need any fancy products like an eyelid primer if you don't want to get one. All I do is I apply concealer from the lash line to the brow bone, and then I set it with a translucent powder so that it doesn't crease. If you compare one lid to the other, you can see how much more awake she looks with just that one simple step taken care of. Tip number 3 is to sculpt the eyes with soft matte shadows before applying any base makeup. When you apply eyeshadow, some of the powder will fall and land under the eyes, even if you use really good quality products. By doing the eyes first, you can clean up the fallout before doing the base makeup. This will lead to a much more flawless end result and a cleaner looking under eye area. I debated on what I was gonna do here forever, but I really wanna teach you this 3 shadow look today because it is a timeless makeup look that is particularly amazing for women in this age group. The first thing you want to do is dip into a medium matte shadow and use a fluffy crease brush to windshield wipe that shadow into the crease. Then take a light matte shadow and apply it to the lid. This play of light and dark makes any sagging skin in the crease recede back, and it makes the lid bounce forward. This is a classic highlight and contour technique that makes the eyes appear bigger instantly. In order to define the lash line, instead of using a liner, which can be really harsh and hard to control, try using a shadow instead. To intensify your shadow and get more precision, you can wet your angled brush first, dip into the shadow of your choice, and then smudge it into the lash line. If you feel like black is harsh for you, and many people do, and brown doesn't suit you, try using the color gray. The reason I chose gray for Jocelyn is because she has natural white hair, and the coolness of her blue eye color and the coolness of her hair is very complementary to the coolness of the gray. If Jocelyn was colored like me, for example, I would more likely reach for a dark brown because the warmth in my skin, hair, and eyes goes with brown better. If you want an entire video on the most flattering shadow colors for different skin tones and eye colors, please let me know because I always make videos based on what you're requesting in the comments. I read comments every day. I take hours out of my day to respond to you guys. I see them, so if you are writing a comment, trust that I do see it and I am writing it down as a potential video for the future. When I sketch this liner on, before I hit that last outer lash, I angle my brush upwards so that line is moving up. This gives an instant eye lift and you will notice that lift a lot once the mascara and the rest of the makeup is done. Let's move on to skin. First thing I do, as I mentioned here before, is clean any shadow fallout under the eyes with some moisturizer and a Q-tip. The moisturizer acts as an eraser, picking up the shadow, but it also preps the skin for concealer in that area by adding in some hydration. I learned this trick about 15 years ago when I was working on a music video with a senior level artist, and I have never forgotten it. I still use this technique when I do makeup on every single person. The cool thing about this technique is that then when you are applying foundation or brightener or whatever under the eyes, it will look flawless. If you apply a makeup remover, especially one that's dual phase that has some oil in it, which most of them do to break down eye makeup, if you apply that to clean fallout, you're going to get a bit of an oily residue. And then when you put your concealer on top of that oil, it's going to separate. If you've been doing this and you notice that your concealer under your eye is always splotchy or creasy, it could very well be because the oil in the makeup remover is diluting and separating it, because that's what makeup remover is meant to do. So instead of removing that fallout with makeup remover, remove the fallout with moisturizer. It will come right out like an eraser. It's amazing. You'll see when you try it, and then you're all prepped and ready for the skin phase. Speaking of skin, let's do some foundation. Jocelyn was on holidays last week, so she was very tan when she came into the studio. Because she isn't naturally that dark, her face is a bit lighter than her chest, and if I matched her foundation to her chest exactly, it would feel very contrasting with her hair and it would have looked a bit off. But if I went too light, her face would be way lighter than her body. If you've ever gone on holidays and had this issue, I'm going to teach you a couple of techniques to soften that demarcation out. Today I use the ItCosmetics CC Cream in color medium. This is a great foundation for mature skin because it is so radiant and luminous. As you can see, it's a little bit light, but we're gonna place warmth back in with other products in strategic places. After I went in with a MAC Brightening Color Corrector under the eyes, I brought the bronze back into the high points of the face with the Chanel Cream Bronzer. After I softly sketched in her brows, I still wanted a bit more depth, so I went in again with more bronzer and I sculpted out the cheekbones. This gave me the color that I needed to balance out her tan without making her face unnaturally dark. Tip number 4 is to use a hydrating cream product in as many steps as you can. As you saw, the ItCosmetics CC Cream has a really luminous finish. The Chanel Bronzer is a cream. The next step is a blush, and I chose a cream blush for that reason as well. Prioritizing a hydrated base over everything else will make you look much younger. A radiant finish is key. It's the key for makeup application over 50. Tip number 5 is to use some eye-opening makeup tricks. This will really lift up your eyes and make you look a lot younger. The first trick is to curl your lashes. Curl those babies every single time you do your makeup and never skip this step. It takes 1 minute and it will give you a serious eye lift. The best eyelash curler on the market, the one that all the makeup artists talk about, is the one by Shiseido. So if you need a lash curler that's really good, that has a great reputation, try the one by Shiseido. That's the one I have in my kit and it works quite well. Another eye-opening trick is to take a skin-colored eye pencil and apply it on the bottom waterline. I know a lot of people feel concerned with applying liner in the waterline. I don't do it every day, but I think once in a while or for a special occasion, it's fine for most people. This really is a classic makeup artist trick to make the eyes look huge. If you have smaller or deep set eyes, and you really want to make them bigger for a special event or whatever, this will give you the illusion that your eyes are like double the size. Finally, I added that sexy pop of color to the lips, a creamy highlighter to the cheekbone, and we were done. This is Jocelyn with her own makeup on, this is her with no makeup on, and this is her with the look that we created. I am absolutely in love with how this turned out. I think she was incredibly beautiful before, obviously, that's obvious, but this just really elevated her already gorgeous features. Now, as a bonus, I wanted to show you how to transition this into an evening look in just 2 steps. For a night out, don't be afraid to play with lipstick. Lipstick can completely change your look in less than 5 minutes. For Jocelyn, I added a bold Marilyn Monroe lip because I knew she could pull it off beautifully. And then I added a few clusters of individual lashes to define that lash line a little bit more. I threw her hair up into a classic French twist and she was totally event ready. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you learned the most from this tutorial and if you're going to incorporate any of these into your routine. I just did 2 other videos like this on tips to look younger after 50, one with makeup do's and don'ts, and one using drugstore products only. If you like this video, I suggest you watch those ones next because this one's over.